urban farm in the middle of Philadelphia. Doesn't feel like you're in the middle of the city right now, but we are, and we're reminded of that when you hear the police sirens and the ice cream truck go by. We're situated on 3/4 of an acre here in Aubrey Arboretum, and we're growing 30 to 40 varieties of vegetables, many heirloom varieties, and hard to find types that you know, you're not going to find in your conventional supermarket. We get this all done through one full-time employee, a part-time employee, and many volunteers. On any given week, we could have anywhere from 10 to 20 different volunteers out here on the farm helping to harvest this produce. With the disappearance of so many family farms, we need to find a new way of making agriculture viable. And at a time when so many people are looking to eat locally, particularly in a city, we want to make a good stab at seeing if we can make this a viable business in Philadelphia. In the spring, we start our seedlings at a nearby greenhouse. We start tilling the land out here. And beginning mid-March, we're planting peas, we're planting carrots, kohlrabi, broccoli, all the stuff that's cool weather. As far as pest management, we use chemicals as a last resort. I think the only thing I've used this year was some baking soda and horticultural oil on our squash to combat powdery mildew, and early on in the season we used some safer soap on for aphids on some peas. In the spring we start harvesting a lot of the leaf crops, lettuces, greens, peas, carrots, root crops. Then we move into some of the squash, beans, things like that. And then by July we're harvesting tomatoes and peppers and eggplants, and we're really in the heart of things. July is probably our biggest month. If they're really ripe, I mean, they'll crack with the slightest pressure that's put on them. We can't stack them on top of each other. We have to lay them in a single layer. And so it's really important that we convey that to people who are picking them and selling them in the store. It's mid-September and the eggplants have gotten a little crazy, almost as tall as me. And you gotta walk through underneath them and move the plants around to find anything in here. And then in the fall we start to move back into the leaves and the root crops again. Things that'll tolerate some frost.
Here we are about to go on SEPTA with about 40 pounds of produce here that we just harvested today, and little does SEPTA know that they're actually transporting the produce going to the Fair Fruit Farm stand in the Reading Terminal Market, which is right off of the train tracks about 20 minutes away. Produce delivery.
About 7 years ago, a couple of members got together and started a memorial farm to do education with students and the community. And about a year ago, we realized that it might be possible to actually have a viable farm of a couple of acres in the urban environment that could gross enough from the farm to break even. We hired a farmer, two farmers, one to do the farm and one to do the education at the farm with the community groups. That product is produced there and brought over to the co-op. We also sell at farmers markets here in Philadelphia and directly to local restaurants and other institutions.
these guys. These are mostly celebrity and directors. $2.50.
Okay.
And they were just harvested today.
This morning has been absolutely fabulous. It's been extremely high traffic, high volume that we haven't seen before at this time of the morning. Most people come to us around noon or a little later, you know, it's Sunday morning, but I think the market is getting so popular and such a big crowd pleaser that people realize they need to come early to get the produce that they really want. So in literally, I think it's been about a half an hour, we've sold out of almost 50% of what we brought down. And what I brought in particular was big bouquets of flowers, these squash blossoms, which are really hard to get in most places because they're so delicate and they don't travel well. So something you can really get here that you can't get anywhere else. And we also have peppers and leeks and tomatoes, tons and tons of tomatoes. There's just such an intense variety of flavors and people really appreciate them and come and see, you know, what it is that they can pick up to really spice up their cooking.
I think people want to support the local economy, want to support the local farmer, starting to realize that in order to preserve land and to keep land from being overdeveloped and suburbanized, that we not only have to preserve the farm land, but we have to preserve farms.
We really need to bring it back to a smaller, you know, radius.
And people are starting to realize that the local foods taste better, that it's better, you can't compare a fresh heirloom tomato to, you know, a red tomato that came from California or Florida or Mexico. There's no comparison in taste.
We get regular customers here at the market. We have regular people that come from the co-op to work in the fields. You know, you really get to know people's names. People say hi, you talk, you get to exchange ideas. We've really seen our family farms die down, and now urban farming, I think, is going to pick up and be what puts food back close to our table. So it starts in this city and it ends in this city. You know, where it's grown is where it's eaten.
What we're harvesting today is going to go to the store, and then it's going to go into all these people's shopping carts and then go back to their home and become part of their meal, right? I think we might be able to fit this basket pretty cool. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
So the farm has an education program where we can kind of introduce them to the idea of growing food locally and kind of give them a little bit of an experience of working on the farm. What's that like? How many people know what string beans look like? And from where you are, can you look around, maybe up in the air, maybe down at the ground, maybe around you, and find where are the string beans? Does anyone see? Anyone see?
I see millions.
Somebody sees a million. There are 3 pathways, okay? So we're going to split the group into 3. Yeah, because they look good. They look good.
Is this one ready?
But you gotta make sure you pull
Daddy!
Just like Dave and Joy and everybody else on the farm, we enjoy this interesting mix between an urban culture and a natural environment, and just even the ethics of working on a farm, which is so holistic for how you feel as a person. You get to get dirt under your fingernails. It's ridiculously gratifying, and you feel real, and it's so much different than working in an office.